welcome to Internal Outlet. This is Cody. It's Tuesday, and we all know what that means. It means that I'm putting out another video today. Or at least that's what I've said in the past, anyway. So, I want to say Happy New Year to everybody. New Year's kind of came pretty quick for me, with all the moving and everything like that. I hope that you guys have good luck trying to get your New Year's resolutions resolved and all those things. Currently don't have one, just because life's kind of a mess right now. Maybe I'll think of one later. But we've got February coming around the corner. And with February comes Valentine's Day. And with Valentine's Day comes the subject of love. So I'm going to go ahead and cover love today. And I'm not talking about the kind of love that you have for a band or a certain type of food or anything like that, because truth be told, when it comes to love in that context, we don't really love it. I consider love to probably be one of the most malleable of emotions that we have as people. Kind of similar to happiness and sadness. You know, you have tears of joy just like you have tears of sadness. Well, with love, you have like a love of a thing, and then you have the love of a person. And there's also different forms of loving a person. You're gonna love your family members different than what you're gonna love your significant other, whether it be your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. You're gonna love them differently than you're gonna love your family. So, and pardon me, I'm actually trying to get over a cold still. But I want to talk about what my version of love for your significant other is. To me, love when it comes to your significant other is more about compromise. And the best example I can give of this is Brad Pitt. You know, everybody knows Brad Pitt. He gets in his divorce with Angelina Jolie and decides to pick up on a bigger, heavier set woman. Somebody that society wouldn't typically judge as being beautiful. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not coming down on bigger oriented people. It's just the societal norms of America is that thin is king. If you're thin, you're gorgeous. If you're fat, you're not, essentially. So he falls in love with a 375-pound woman, let's say. And we'll say that though Brad Pitt might be an angry rage monster, he is a very deep individual. So he decides to take his 375-pound girlfriend or whatever down the red carpet. What is it that society as a whole is going to see? They're going to see this 375-pound woman walking with America's sexiest man, apparently. That's not going to look good. Not going to look good externally to society, but what we don't know is that 375-pound woman might be the biggest sweetheart that you could ever possibly meet. She could donate her entire paychecks to charity and be willing to give you the shirt off of your back, or off of her back, and just, she's the greatest sweetheart. So what is he compromising? He's compromising the external appearance for what's on the inside. Now, it could go the other way. Maybe she's a very shallow individual, and since we're saying in this scenario that Brad Pitt happens to be an angry rage monster, she's putting away his internal for what's on the outside. And that's what I mean by compromise. It's always a tit for tat when it comes to love, in my personal opinion. Nothing's free. We all know that through living wherever we live. Nothing is free. There's always a price to pay. And I've found very much so when it comes to relationship type love, there's a huge tit for tat. And it doesn't necessarily have to be looks and interior. It can be anything from, you've got a great woman all around, you find her beautiful, you find her attractive, you find her everything in the book, and she's just as gorgeous on the inside, but she has a terrible family. I mean, you have to sit there and wonder, how did an ugly family come up with such a great individual. And by ugly family, I'm not talking about physical appearance necessarily, but maybe their actions or maybe their personalities are just very, very ugly and they've caused a lot of problems or whatever. But, it's always about a compromise. Especially once you get married and start having kids. Parenting is a whole nother beast to go over because everybody's got a different parenting style, and sometimes the most compromises come with parenting. Maybe one of these days my wife and I will actually go over that. Now, I'm not saying that I'm the best parent in the world, but I damn well try. And I know that my wife does too, but we also do very much so have our differences when it comes to how we deal with certain things. I'm a little bit more aggressive when it comes to certain things, where she's more lax and lenient, which is bound to happen in any relationship ever. But back on the love topic, what do you guys consider to be love? Drop that in the comments below. I'd love to read them, But what I wanted to get into when it comes to love, and I'm sorry, I've got an itchy nose here, but what I'm trying to get into when it comes to love is that love is very malleable. Somebody might say that they love a band. Truth be told, they don't really love that band, as far as the context of my thought process of love. Because I don't consider love to be a need. I would consider it to be probably one of the strongest wants out there. There's a reason why we have lust and love. And, lusting over somebody, we all know what that is. That's your relationship that lasted 2-3 months. You tried to make it work, but she turned out to be just a psycho of an individual, or he turned into being an asshole of a person. But that's lust. That's that high school love, in my personal opinion. You date somebody over a course of time. Sometimes it might turn into love. There are people out there that are married to their high school sweethearts. But for many of us, that's not going to be the case. That's not exactly what's going to happen. So when I come to think about love, especially when it comes to my partner, I feel it's a lot of compromise. And at the end of the day, if my wife was to leave me, I would say that I would be very devastated. But I have to ask myself 3 questions. If my wife was to leave me tomorrow, would I still be able to breathe? Truth be told, yeah. Might be in and out of crying, maybe. I don't know. I'm not crossing that bridge anytime soon. But it's a what-if scenario, so yeah, I would say I'd probably cry a little bit. But I'd still be breathing. Would I be able to eat? It would be really hard. I may not eat for the first day or 2. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to eat. I'm still going to sustain life. So, and then would I be able to sleep? Same thing. Very disrupted. Probably thinking about her a lot. Probably wondering what I did wrong or where we went wrong or whatever. But I'd still be sleeping. I get some sort of rest for the night. And that brings me down to need. When it comes to carnal needs, we need food. We need sleep. We need breath. Or air. Breath. So eat, sleep, and breathing. Those are the things that we need. Is love a need? No. There's many people out here in society today that aren't with somebody, aren't married to somebody, and they're in their older years. They've lived their entire lives by themselves and just hanging out with their friends and being happy. Not saying they've never had relationships before, but, everybody's a little different. So, when it comes to love, I would say it's probably the deepest want. You don't feel like your life would be happy without that individual. You don't feel like you would be a whole person, I guess. But that brings me to the high school love. Are you one of those people that says I love you every day to your significant other? If you are, please assess yourself. Because nobody wants to hear that guy that's been with that girlfriend for 3 weeks and all of a sudden, oh, I love you, sweetheart. No, that's ridiculous. Get to know somebody first. Know your pet peeves. Know their pet peeves. Know how they live their life. And know their viewpoints on things. Get to know somebody first before you literally sit down and say, I love you. If you're a high school kid and you've been saying I love you to your high school sweetheart for 3 months and you've only been together for 4, there's probably something wrong and you should reevaluate yourself. Because that's not love. Love is when you can wake up next to that person, you can see them with the Medusa hair and no makeup on. They got a big zit on the middle of their forehead, one on their nose, a big one on the cheek, and they're in their grungiest of forms. They look like a frump. And you can still look at them and say, I think you're gorgeous. And I love you. That's when you love somebody. When you can literally look at them at their worst time, whether it's internal or exterior. I can honestly say that too, because I know my wife's seen me on an internal spiral at some point in time in the last 3 years of our marriage. So I would say, get to know somebody first. Love isn't something that's going to strike you in a day. Love's not something that's going to hit you in a week. Get to know somebody first. But I'm still very curious as to what your guys' thought processes of love are. If you disagree with me, please let me know. This is internal outlet. This is your opportunity to voice your opinion, because what works for me is not always going to work for you. I'm just putting out the stuff that I've learned on here so that you guys may be able to reflect on it. I'm not promising you that watching my videos or talking to me is going to solve your every needs or all of your internal problems, but it might help. What we would say in the military is it's just another tool for your toolbox. If you find yourself in the same situation that I'm talking about, chances are listening to somebody else's opinion or how somebody else got over those problems is going to help you out. And on that note, I have to say thank you for watching. If you like my content, please share it, please subscribe. If you want to know when I'm putting out more content, just hit the subscribe button, and right next to it would be a Taco Bell icon. Go ahead and click that and you'll get an email verification or an email message every time I put out a new video. Typically I'm going to try to put out new videos on Tuesdays. I've been running a little bit behind. If you've paid attention to my Facebook page, I've been pretty sick, so I anticipate putting out a video every Tuesday, but that might change. And I may be doing some new segments coming this Friday, but I'll have more information on that probably once I put out one of their videos, so it'll be a surprise to you guys. But until then, please like, comment, and subscribe. All of your views count, all of your guys' attention counts. I love doing these videos for you guys. I love talking about things. It makes me feel better as a person, and I hope it helps with you too, because this is my internal outlet, just as I hope this would be yours.